Hello, welcome back to the run across Europe. We are just outside the town of Motzingen and we are on our way to Tübingen, I believe is how you pronounce it. We won't make it there in this video, but that's the end goal for today. Yeah, it just has some nice farm roads here, nice and quiet, and I like the view, so I said we'd record here today. First off, gotta apologise to German George. I'll get to him later, but he recommended recording in the town of Neckarcamping. That's where we started today, because I asked him, he lives around here, and I said if you had to record 30 minutes snapshot, where would you go from? And him and the two other women that I was with said the town is the nicest, but this morning started off, I got into the town, I was just on the edge of it in the campsite, then I got into it and it was half decent, but I would have been leaving it within a minute of the video, you know. And then I just had to climb up by the highway and it wouldn't have made for a good video. We have some mountains on the horizon and I'm heading east now. I'm just wondering whether they're the Alps. They don't look like it. They look too small, but if they're that far away, maybe that is them, which would be pretty cool. They literally just came into view, so we'll find out in a couple of days. So where I left you yesterday, I stopped for lunch shortly after that. Not much of a lunch, just like a small little banana and stuff, and then my mum called me and I talked to her for a bit, but then I got going again and it just started lashing rain and I was in the woods, so there's not really to hide, so, and I just stopped, so I just said I'm not gonna let it stop me, just threw on the rain jacket and kept going. And yeah, just glad I did, just to get a good day's run in, because it kept raining then, and I was doing a 40, so I think 45 yesterday, was it? Or was it 40? I can't remember. But I was 10k from my planned campsite, and there was a campsite there, and I was tempted to call it a shorter day, but I kept moving, and yeah, I'm glad I did, because that first campsite that I didn't go to had like bouncy castles and you could hear kids everywhere. Not really my scene. And then the one that I did get to had a nice bar in it that was stuffed full of people. I later found out they were like locals, you know, it wasn't people on the campsite really. So yeah, I get there and there's a woman working in the bar, and I just start trying to talk to her and she doesn't speak English, so she goes to turns out she works in the bar, and there was another woman who does check-ins and stuff. So like I say to the woman, check-in, can I stay? Straight away, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Ireland. Come out to Ireland. She's like, Ireland, I love Ireland. I love Dublin, she says. And I was like, oh, I'm from Dublin. And she was like, oh great, you know, this and that, and just straight away I could tell she was drunk. I got there at like 5, maybe 6, I can't remember. It wasn't that late, you know, but she was drunk as a skunk, you know, like just talking like this and dragging out everything, you know. She shows me to my camp spot and she's like, now you can stay here, and the showers are there and you can shower as many times as you want, and in the night time we have the lights on and you do not need to go where the lights are not, you know. I was just talking for ages and it had stopped raining at this point, so I just wanted to get my camp, have my tent set up before it started raining again, you know, but she wouldn't stop going on and on. Like, she was nice, she was friendly, but she was just drunk and she wanted to talk. So I was like, here, I'm just gonna set up my tent, I'll be over to have some, you know, have a pint later. So yeah, luckily the rain just held off, so I was able to cook food, because I was just right in the middle of it and a few drops started coming down and I was like, oh no, here we go, worst timing. But then it didn't continue. And here's the sun for the first time today, because it was raining this morning as well. But so yeah, I made me dinner and all that, and then I went over for a pint. There was a table with about at least a dozen people, maybe even 15, but they were all older, you know, like 50s plus, and they're all speaking German, you know. So I just don't want to, I don't want to impose and then sit down and make people speak English, you know. I've mentioned that before. So I just sit near them and just, I'm on my phone, you know. But then it started to clear out, and there was only like 5 or 6 of them left. And then this younger looking guy, you know, maybe his 40s, comes over and asks, do I want to join them? And I was like, oh yeah, but I don't speak German, you know. And he's like, oh, that's fine, come on. So then I went over, and that's German George, absolute legend. So yeah, I was just talking to him, and he's out with his missus, and there was like the guy who owns the place, there was a guy from Turkey, and hang on, I'm just looking. I think I have to take a left here, or is it right? Right then left. Okay. So yeah, I got chatting to him. He lives locally, works in a Mercedes-Benz factory. I said in the laboratory, like trying to. It took him a while to get this translated, but I think he works doing the metal work, like trying to make it as lightweight and as aerodynamic as possible, you know. But then we're chatting for a bit, and then he just goes, do you like marijuana? And I was like, oh yeah. And that was him set for the night. Like, he was just, all he talked about was weed for the rest of the day. He because he was saying in Germany you're allowed to grow it now, so just saying how he has multiple plants. His missus that was with him, she's a stoner as well. And so then I was like, oh cool, can I buy some off you, you know? And he's like, yeah, and he just gives me a decent sized bag, and he's like, take it. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So long story short, he grows loads of it. They're allowed up to 3 plants per person in Germany. And he's like, so 3 plants for me, 3 for the girl. I think even the woman then that worked in the campsite, he has 3 in her garden. And then he started saying how he only smokes once a week, which I wasn't sure if I believed, but I kind of do. He seems like that type of guy. But so he was just throwing weed at me, and he's like, here's a rolled joint, here's filters. They have these good filters here that like filter the tobacco and leave the weed. He's giving me skins, and then I was like, do you know where I can buy a grinder? I don't have one. He just straight away takes out a grinder, gives it to me. I was like, man, you're too generous, you know. I'm not complaining, like, I was just like, well, you're really nice, you know. And then he starts telling me, he's like, about this Mike Tyson weed that he has. And he's like, this weed is amazing, so good, so good. You know, he ordered like 3 seeds from America and has been growing it. And so then he goes off and gets a bag and then takes it, you know, gives me a little bit of that as well. And he's like, normally I don't give this to people, but for you I'll give it to you. And I was just like, sweet, you know, thanks. He just couldn't have been nicer, really friendly. But he was so funny with the talking about weed, because he was so scientific about it, you know. Like, he starts talking to me about cannabinoids and THC and then growing it, and like the different chemical reactions in your brain that happen with smoking weed compared to crack or cocaine or ecstasy, and you know how the synapses fire and all this. He had decent English, and then he's talking about growing it. He's talking about the acidity of the soil, this and that, and the lamps to buy and all, you know. Yeah, it was just funny because he was you know, kind of scientific guy, like. So I was saying to him how he's Walter White, how to Breaking Bad, but he was saying he'd never seen it, and then I was just laughing because you know, he has a bit of Walter White in him, obviously not the big gangster thing, but the science part down. And I think it's Better Call Saul, the sequel, where they get a lot of German engineers in to build their laboratory. So it's just like just an extra layer to it. Yeah, it's just really cool. And then towards the end of the night, it was just me, him, his missus, and the woman that runs the campsite, because he gave me all this, but we didn't smoke because there was other people there, you know, who don't really like it, he was saying. And but then they all went to bed, and the woman who runs it, she brought out a joint. So we started smoking that, and I already had a couple of beers, and after having a few and then smoking, I knew it would not end well. Ended fine, but like, even he was saying, he's like, no, I don't want to smoke, the girlfriend will have to carry me home, you know. But then once it gets going, he took a couple of tokes, and then but after that we couldn't talk to each other, because my accent can be hard to understand at the best of times, but if you get a few drinks into me, and especially a joint, I become just impossible for foreigners to understand. And he was also having his trouble then, talking, thinking, where are we going now? There should be a left here, isn't there? But yeah, it was great. No, it's a right thing. Just having people to talk to, you know. I was saying I haven't done that in a while. And yeah, had a few beers and unwind. I was paying for it this morning though. I was definitely hungover, and I got up at like 8, and then yeah, I just wasn't feeling the best. But then it started to rain, and I was like, oh thank God, just gave me an excuse to go back to bed for an hour, you know. So then I got up at like 9:30, and it stopped raining. So and I felt alright then, because I got up, ate a banana and an apple and stuff. So yeah, just gave that an hour to kick in. Had some Solpadeine on top, painkiller, and yeah, good to go this morning. It was a tough climb first thing in the morning, and the way I was going was bringing me onto a really busy road, so I had to double back. I done it like I'd climbed halfway up this hill and then had to turn around, go back down, go a different way, and then do it again. But it's all good. I actually feel surprisingly good now, energy wise and stuff. Hello. So we're about 11.5 kilometers in, and yeah, not doing too bad. I think they might be the Alps still, aren't they? They don't look big enough. I'll figure it out. Let's just know tomorrow. I was having dinner yesterday as well, and this woman in the caravan beside me just came out with a bowl of watermelon for me, which was lovely. Really nice surprise. So yeah, just a good day all around yesterday. To be honest, like, I don't know, the more life experience I get, the more I start to believe in things like, I believe your consciousness has an effect on reality, you know. And you hear a lot of people saying it, you know, how, I'm trying to think of a way to put this, because I come from a very scientific kind of base, you know, like physics and all. And I've mentioned before how when I was younger I didn't want to make my confirmation, and I was very skeptical of God or the idea of it, you know. But yeah, just basically, like, yesterday I made a point of look at those sunflowers. What's that look like on the camera? I don't know if you can't see the depth of it. Hang on, I'm gonna take this off and show you. But I was saying that as far as the eye can see, let me get sure this is on correctly. But yeah, just I made a point on the on camera yesterday of just because I genuinely did just feel it in the morning, like I just felt connected to the world, you know. You could say connected to God, connected to the universe, whatever. But just some days go past you, you know. And just for whatever reason yesterday, I felt very connected to my surroundings. And yeah, just a deep sense of like love and positive energy, you know. And then I made a point of saying it on the camera, basically just a shout out to God, like. And then later that day I was just like, you know, it was just abundance of giving anything I asked for, you know. You know, where I can get a grinder and he's just pulling out of his pocket and giving it to me, and I'm having my dinner and watermelons getting given to me, you know what I mean? Now it could be a coincidence, but I don't think so. You know, because I'm trying to think, like, I've definitely been offered food before. Yeah, a couple of times, like, more people wanting you to join them, you know what I mean? Like, you want a few lads coming over and offering me, do you want some, hey guy, do you want some meat? But just having it there ready, you know, instead of asking me and then having to say yeah and coming back. It's just, yeah, it's a very nice day. Yeah, the owner of the woman who worked there, I think she's married to the owner or something like that. Wait, let me make sure I'm not getting lost. When she was drinking with us, oh balls, now we're good. We're good. She's telling me why she likes Dublin so much. She's never been. I was trying to ask her, but she's too drunk to answer. She was getting stoned as well, so a lot was lost in translation. She was saying she loves the film The Commitments, you know. It's a great film where just a lot of people in Dublin set up a band. Basically, I can't really remember it, to be honest. She was trying to talk to me about it and I was like, oh, it's years since I've seen it. Because she did go to me at first. She's like, do you know the band The Commitments? That just kind of threw me off. I was like, isn't that a film? And she's talking about it for ages, but I want to take out my phone and just Google and make sure. And as soon as I did, I was like, oh yeah, it's a film about a band. But yeah, it has great music in it, and it really gives you a sense of what Dublin used to be like. Anyway, because yeah, she was talking about it, and then I was like, oh, have you ever been? She's like, I love this film, you know, like this is several hours after I was saying she was already drunk, like. So I don't think she's been to Dublin or to Ireland, but she likes it either way. It's a nice view. But yeah, so I asked, that's when I asked George, I was just kind of something passing to ask him, you know, like where, if you had to take just a snapshot of somewhere near where you live for a video of across Europe, what would it be? But he's so scientific, you had to find the correct answer, you know what I mean? He's thinking about it for ages, and then he's like, and the two women were in their own conversation. He's trying to interrupt them. I was like, just leave it. Mainly because I knew I was going to go. Just follow the way the maps told me, you know. It was more just more just making conversation, really. But he wouldn't let go, and then he asked the two girls, and but that's when they said, they were like, it's probably the town. But they didn't seem overly like, oh, you have to get the town's gorgeous. They were just like, if there was anywhere I'd get, it'd be the middle of town. So I was kind of like, okay, I'll definitely record the town. But yeah, I can see why they were not very committed. It was fine, like, it just wasn't it was missable, shall we say. But yeah, I was hoping to get, I still haven't had I had a coffee this morning, but I didn't have much to eat with it, so I have been shopping. I was hoping to get coffee and have a bit of a lunch before I recorded this, but because we're kind of in the towns, there's not really the park benches that you do get when you're on the cycle paths and the touristy places. So yeah, just keep going. And then I've actually, like I said, for some reason just feel good now and I have energy, so I was like, I'll record it anyway. And this town of Tübingen or whatever has, I think I can get some new runners here, another memory card for the camera, maybe some batteries. So yeah, I'll see. I don't think I'll get to it today, but maybe I'll be able to do that tomorrow morning, and then we'd be sorted for a good bit, which would be good. Because I was humming and hawing. I could either do 40k, keep going south, or I could do this 30k going east. And the way south was the way I was on yesterday, which probably would have been more touristy and the likes, but it was getting late by the time I left. It was after 11 o'clock, and so I just said I'd do the short day. You know, I might have pushed it to do the longer one, but the fact that it's a semi-big town here that I can go shopping in, I let that sway my decision. I really need to wash the clothes. I'm out of shorts and the likes, and it is not good clothes washing weather. I think it's meant to rain later from about 5, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, we go straight. Yeah, this peels to the right, and then we take the left. And this is the town of Bondorf, I believe. Tübingen, 19 kilometers. Just checking the time. Checking my distance. Well, it's 1:45. So yeah, should easily get there before 5, which is when it's supposed to start raining. And it is going to rain for the next few days by the looks of it. So yeah, not ideal. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say was, I don't know, when I first started this, you know, the first episode I didn't really talk because the original plan was to just get POV videos of a run across Europe, you know, and then I was thinking of like recording a sort of podcast with the goings on separately, but it just wasn't feasible really to. So we're at a campsite, there's lots of people around, I didn't want to sit there just talking to myself. So I've merged the two, running and talking. But I just kind of had that, I don't know, I was keeping it very PG. Like I was kind of afraid to, not afraid to, but I avoided talking about weed and the likes. Just in case, like, I don't know, there was a younger audience or something. But now I've just kind of thought like I'm just be as real as possible and give us the ins and outs of how it's going. Do you know what I mean? There's been a couple of times where I was stoned doing the videos and I didn't mention it, and I was kind of to keep it PG, but it was also because if I mention, you know, if I mention it, it might get in my head then and make me worse at talking. But it was only twice, I think, when I was going to that mountain in Wales, and when I was in Bastogne and I'd seen the German graveyard, and then the Band of Brothers place. Is there a table in there? Basically, if I've ever said in an episode that my head's up my arse, that was kind of my code for it. Not intentionally creating a code. it's part of the reason that it would have hit me anyway, the German soldiers and stuff. You know, like I was saying, just especially how much I've gotten into World War II and the likes, but I got left. But that just made it maybe more awestruck, shall we say, and less able to find words for it. But nothing but the truth from now on. How are we doing for time actually? 31. Alright, I think we're just getting to an industrial estate, so we will end it there. There's seats over there. Just taking a look at this sports ground. It's normally decent for it, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep moving. Alright, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.